How many in the room have studied at DMU or studying at DMU? Give me a big cheer. Medium size. Well, as an alumnus of DMU, I'm really pleased to be here today, and it's great to see so many of you in the audience. I'm going to take you back 11 years. The campus today looks like a cosmopolitan with the green, pedestrianised centre and the big screen. It wasn't quite like that 11 years ago, but nonetheless, campus was a great time, and DMU was a great life for me. I was studying for a journalism postgraduate diploma at the time, and I got a work experience that turned into a job offer, and that got me on my career ladder. So I joined an industry, journalism, that was very male-dominated, and in fact, the whole office was male. And at the time, 11 years ago, I got my first career, but I was also diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Now, I'd aspired to be a journalist from a very young age, and I was determined not to let that stand in my way. So between then and now, MS relapses have come and gone and left their scars, but my career has progressed from journalism into marketing. And I was able to progress through networking and picking up the phone and speaking to people. But nowadays, you have to apply online. And technology is great, isn't it? It's made our world so wide, so vast, we can reach people across the pond. But with that technology also comes barriers. Those barriers include algorithms that sift out CVs that don't have keywords. They include job application forms that take more than a day to complete. And they include psychometric tests that put your personality through the ringer. But it's not just technology that's putting the barriers in the way. Before technology came along, recruitment was about a person-to-person interaction. It was about human to human. And that human element is still in there. Technology has just been overlaid. So humans are still responsible and are still putting those barriers in the way. 4 years ago, I joined Chris Tarry, the founder of Access Generation, and we formed the social enterprise that's purpose is to encourage businesses to employ inexperienced young people. We had a very clear mission to share young people's views with businesses to make the world of work more accessible. We started to speak to businesses and to share our vision, and we were faced with really negative opinions. These employers would tell us that young people are lazy, they job hop, we train them and they leave. Really, really shocking. So we went back and spoke to young people, and we said, what is your opinion? What is the biggest barrier stopping you from getting into work? And we spoke to nearly 100 young people through De Montfort University, Loughborough, the Prince's Trust, and 2020. And they told us the biggest barrier was the online application process and what a company says about itself. Young people have a particular criteria for choosing an employer to work for. At that point, 4 years ago, I was thinking, well, I'm a millennial. I know what young people want from the workplace. And in my mind, I was thinking primary colours, a Google-type office, beanbags, fake grass, flexible working. But my generation also coined this phrase, I don't want to adult today. But the problem with that is that we have to. Millennials are grown up. You're 25 plus, or mid-30s in my case. So we have to stop talking about millennials. So who are the new generation? The new generation, if you want to give it a label, is Generation Z. And they are completely different to millennials. They believe in a fair society. They want to work for a company that has a purpose and embraces diversity and inclusion. It's no good as an employer using generic statements on your website or even stock images. Gen Z know how to spot fake news. If you want to attract the next generation, you have to be genuine and you have to be authentic. We spoke to those 100 young people and we looked at some company websites. And one young person was Catherine, and I just want to share Catherine's story with you. She was a graduate, she was finishing her degree, and she was applying for graduate roles. She spent a lot of time on a particular application. She didn't get an acknowledgement, she didn't get any feedback. And when she was telling me this story, she turned to me and said, "What did I do wrong?" And at that point, my heart sank, because I thought, when you're out in the world and you're adulting, and you're used to those knockbacks and not hearing any feedback, but as a young person who doesn't know what they don't know, their resilience is high at that point, their confidence is high, and all of a sudden, they get knocked down. They're comparing their experience of shopping and gaming online to when they apply for jobs. If you try and buy something on Amazon, you know when it's in the basket, in the cart, in Bob's van, an hour away from your house to be delivered. You submit a job online, and we hear time and time again, it's like submitting it into a black hole. So you submit it online, and you wait. Will you hear anything back? Who knows? Will you get any feedback? Who knows? With those 100 young people, we created an assessment that scores a job section on a company website, so young people can actually give employers feedback. And one of the best comments I heard from Callum, who's one of our peer researchers in Middlesbrough, he said, "This is great. We're turning the tables on employers. We're assessing them. We're giving them our feedback." And it was a light bulb moment. I'd created this social enterprise with Chris, and what we'd actually created was a platform for young people to have their voice heard by businesses. In the research, we found that 2 in 3 employers do not offer entry-level roles. We've researched over 500 employers to date. 2 in 3 do not offer entry-level roles. Now, you have to remember that young people are in that catch-22, no experience, but need the experience to work. When we speak to employers, they're telling us they're struggling to recruit, yet they're not considering the massive pool of talent of inexperienced young people. They're locking them out by asking for experience and evidence that you don't currently have. Only 1% of employers provide support or guidance in the recruitment process. 1%. Most recruitment processes are designed with filters and hurdles to leave the last most experienced candidate standing. But employers that are smart, employers that care, recognize that inexperienced young people need guidance and support to make a good application. We now have a peer panel of young volunteers, and everything we do as a social enterprise is being led by young people and for young people. And our founder, Chris, has a vision that the company will be run by young people, and he wants to hand over the social enterprise. Every year we take on interns through the DMU Champions scheme, and our latest intake of interns validated our research with a further 100 young people, confirming the key issues that young people face when trying to get into work, and confirming young people's criteria for choosing an employer. One of our interns, Soraya, she created a marketing campaign to raise awareness of those key issues. And today, I'd like to see if you'd like to help us make a difference and take some action. We want to change the 99% of employers who do not offer support and guidance. We want to influence them to change what they do. Simply search, access your true potential, and help us by signing the petition. This campaign is being led by our peer panel, and we want employers to embrace diversity and inclusion, to consider giving feedback, or at least stating when feedback is available, acknowledging receipt of applications, promoting opportunities to progress, and finally, creating those entry-level opportunities. Let's get rid of that catch-22. I hope you'll support our peer panel with this campaign. We want to make the workplace accessible again, one employer at a time. Thank you.